Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. I was in the terminal stage of cancer, lying on a hospital bed, barely clinging to life. My wife was holding our son, who had just started elementary school, crying with tears streaming down her face. Sophia, I have already written the will. After I die, all my assets will belong to you and our son. Cough, cough, cough. I felt my life slipping away. I could hardly hold on any longer. My wife sent our son out, leaving only the two of us. She wiped her tears and smiled as she said to me, "You're finally going to die. I've been waiting for this day." I woke up, looked at the hospital ceiling, and patted my chest. Luckily, it was only a nightmare. Sophia Taylor, that is my wife. She loves me deeply. How could she say something like that? But at that moment, I watched my 3-year-old son in his baby voice call out to me, "Daddy." And at this moment, Sophia also looked no older than 30. She was peeling an apple for me, saying nothing, but I heard her voice. She said, "Hasn't Alex arrived yet? Surely he didn't actually go to a blind date, did he?" I looked at Sophia and asked, "Was that you speaking just now?" Sophia looked at me with a baffled expression. "No, you didn't. Did you knock your head badly?" After saying that, she pretended to be very concerned and patted my head. Then I heard her voice again. Could it be that he's actually brain damaged? If he's brain damaged, I can be with Alex. Alexander Davis is my best friend. At that moment, I looked at my 3-year-old son and 28-year-old Sophia. I finally realized I had been reborn, and after rebirth, I could hear Sophia's inner thoughts. Remembering the words Sophia said when I was dying in my previous life, I couldn't help but scrutinize the son in front of me. He really did look extremely similar to Alex. Especially those eyes were so much like Alex's. It's a pity that I used to always think my son didn't resemble me because he took after his mother. Only now do I realize it was Sophia who cheated on me. The person she was cheating with turned out to be my good brother, Alexander. Just then, Alexander came in, bringing along a delicate little girl. "Ethan, are you okay? Let me introduce you and your sister-in-law. This is my girlfriend, Lily." I sized the girl up. She looked fairly attractive and seemed very well behaved. Just then, I heard Sophia's inner voice again, the old which really knows how to think. She found Alex. Such an ugly girlfriend, not half as pretty as me. The old which she referred to must definitely be Alexander's mother. It seems Sophia has strong feelings against Alexander's mother. Since in her last life, she hoped I would die sooner so she could be with Alexander. In this life, I might as well help her and Alexander. After all, I don't have the habit of raising someone else's son. I said, "This girl looks nice, suitable for settling down. Your heart should settle, too. Look, my son is already 3, and you don't even have a girlfriend. Leo, come here. Call me Dad, so your Uncle Alex can be a little jealous." Leo immediately ran to my side with his toy and obediently called out, "Daddy." A trace of melancholy flashed in Alexander's eyes, while Sophia looked somewhat embarrassed. I, on the other hand, was extremely pleased. Seeing my biological son call someone else daddy must feel awful. I glanced at the girl called Lily, who looked shy and restless. I turned to Alexander and said, "Look at you. You can't even chase a girl. Aren't there strawberries here? Go wash some for Miss Lily to eat. Don't say your big brother didn't teach you. You see, your sister-in-law was won over by my meticulous actions back in the day. Wife, right?" Sophia pretended to be shy. "Yes, husband." But in her heart, she thought, if my parents hadn't seen that your family was rich back then, I never would have married you. I deliberately showed affection in front of Alexander. "Wife, I have a headache. I need a kiss." Although Sophia was very reluctant, she still kissed me. The voice in my head immediately spoke up. "Gross. If Alex sees this, he won't be angry, will he? I'll have to explain it to him properly later. I'm really going to be moved to death by their love." My wife kisses me and still has to explain it to Alexander. She truly is a virtuous woman, preserving herself for Alexander. After Leo was born, Sophia and I rarely had that kind of life anymore. Before, I thought she was indifferent about that, but it turned out she was remaining chaste for someone else. Still, she had to kiss me in front of Alexander, who told me I was rich enough. Alexander couldn't stand it and made an excuse to go wash the strawberries. To provoke Sophia, I deliberately asked Lily, "Alex isn't getting any younger. When are you two planning to get married?" Lily said shyly, "I don't know. I just go along with what Alex wants." Sophia thought, "Alex is someone you can call that." I looked at Sophia without showing any emotion and said, "I want to eat some snow pears. Why don't you go wash a few?" Sophia looked pleased. I was deliberately giving the two of them a chance to be alone. Sure enough, I heard Sophia's inner voice again. I need to talk to Alex and dump that Lily. No wonder Alexander never had a girlfriend in his previous life. It turned out Sophia was the one who spoiled things every time. I was discharged from the hospital and returned home. I began thinking about the events of the past few days. I was a little curious about when Sophia and Alexander had hooked up. Since I can hear Sophia's inner thoughts anyway, I might as well probe her directly. "Sophia, do you remember when we were in college? So many girls chased after Alex and me back then. Be honest. Who do you think was the heartthrob of the computer science department? Me or Alex?" Sophia smiled and said, "Of course you." But her inner voice was definitely Alex. "How could you compare to Alex? You really think girls like you? They only like your money. You conceited ugly guy." She actually dared to call me an ugly guy. I have to gross her out properly. I hurriedly hugged Sophia to kiss her, but she was startled and pushed me away. "I'm on my period." "Ah, then let's do it another day." Alex never had a girlfriend before. After so many years, I don't even know what type of girl he likes. "You think he's so close to me? Could it be that he actually likes men? Like he likes me?" I feigned surprise. Sophia smiled and said, "Maybe." But in my heart, I thought, "Fool, how could Alex possibly like you? Alex has always liked me. If he cared about your family's background and resources, he wouldn't be playing with you, nor would he hand me over to you." When I heard that, I realized these two had been scheming for a long time, already colluding with each other, just waiting for me to die so they could seize the wealth accumulated by my family over 3 generations. What cruel hearts. Since the two of them love each other so much, I'll show some mercy and let them be together at last. By the way, let's see how they turn on each other. After I was discharged from the hospital, I returned to the company. I had expected my desk to be piled high with unprocessed documents, but it was quiet and tidy. I called my executive assistant and learned that Alexander had signed all those documents on my behalf. "I'm not dead yet, and you're already so eager to seize my company." My executive assistant, Chloe, walked in. I changed my usual gentle expression and angrily asked, "Is this company mine or Alexander's?" Chloe hesitated. "Of course it's yours. It's just that you said before that when you were away, all matters would be decided by Mr. Davis." "Huh? You also know it was before? From now on, all documents must be signed by me. Otherwise, get out of this company." Chloe cried with tears streaming down her face, repeatedly nodding and agreeing. It seems I trusted Alexander too much over the years. I basically raised an ungrateful wretch. Fortunately, the company's finances have always been firmly in my hands. I called Alexander to the office. "Alex, I have something I must tell you." Alexander hurriedly asked, "What is it?" I pretended to be upset and said, "Alex, I invested in a project overseas, and it turned out to be a scam. I lost billions of dollars. Please don't tell Sophia about this. I'm afraid she won't be able to handle it." The sorrow on Alexander's face didn't seem fake. After all, in his heart, that was all his money. Then I spoke again. "Soon the bank will seize my assets. You followed me for so long. If not for merit, at least for loyalty. I know you have talent. I'll transfer $5 million from my personal account to you. Take it as seed money and leave the company to start your own business." Alexander looked at me, pretending to be very moved, his eyes tearing as he said, "We're brothers. How could I abandon you in your time of trouble?" I patted his shoulder, feigning sorrow. "The situation is beyond saving now. I can't drag you down and die with me. We're brothers. Go start your business. If you succeed, don't forget you have an elder brother like me." Alexander wiped away his tears, moved. After confirming that I had indeed lost an overseas investment, he resigned immediately that same day. While I returned home, Sophia was putting on makeup. She was very surprised to see me back because I used to always work overtime and only came back late at night. Her face showed no emotion. "You're back. There's food in the kitchen that the housekeeper left for you." But in her mind, she was thinking, why don't you ever come back early or late? And of all times, you come back just when I'm about to go on a date with Alex. I walked over, wrapped my arms around her waist from behind, kissed her cheek, and my hands began to get restless on hers. The voice in her head sounded again, so disgusting. "Let go quickly." But she said out loud, "Honey, I arranged to go shopping with Emily today. She's still waiting for me. I have to go out." I pretended not to know and said, "Then go on, wife. Buy whatever you like. Buy more. Don't try to save money for me." Sophia hurriedly escaped from my arms and laughed. "Okay, honey, you're the best of me, but I might be a bit late getting back, so if you get sleepy, go to bed early." At the same time, her inner voice sounded again. "Ah, it seems I can't spend the night with Alex tonight, but it's nice to be close for a little while." I looked at this delicate face before me, the face I had loved for so many years. The last shred of illusion was shattered. "All right, go ahead." When Sophia returned, I checked the time. It was already a little past 2 o'clock in the morning. She went straight to the bedroom to take a shower as soon as she got back, and she showered for a long time. It seems they had a great time today. When she got into bed, she noticed I was still awake and was startled. She asked, guilty, "Why are you still awake?" I sighed. "It's nothing, just a little unable to sleep." Only her inner voice sounded. "Of course, I can't sleep after going bankrupt. What a spendthrift. Wasting so many years of my youth. Just wait. Once Alex's company makes money, I'll dump you." She said aloud, "Well, I'm going to sleep." But her inner voice was, "Alex really wore me out today, but I just love his bad side." On her fair neck, there was even a hickey Alexander had deliberately left. It seems that once they knew I was bankrupt, they became completely unrestrained, eager. They were just waiting for Alexander to make money so they could kick me to the curb. If that's the case, then I have to make sure Alexander earns a sum of money. The next day, I found an extra to play the role of a boss. I didn't expect Alexander to take the bait so easily. He was utterly convinced of the actor identity and began heavily stockpiling, hoping to sell at a good price. Sophia's face has been full of joy these past few days. That day, I was sitting with Leo in the living room drawing, and she watched Leo while glancing around. A voice sounded in her heart. "My dear son, soon you'll be able to play with your real father." And in front of her, Leo was clinging to me in a babbling voice. "Daddy, I want that color." I couldn't help but deliberately ask him in front of her, "Leo, who do you love most in this world?" Leo replied sweetly, "Of course, Daddy. Daddy plays with me whenever he's free, and he earns money to buy me lots of toys." I looked at Leo's innocent face and pretended to speak casually. "What if someone bullies Daddy?" Leo clenched his fist and said, "Then I'll help Daddy beat them up." Hearing that response, Sophia's face visibly darkened. A voice rang in her head. "We can't wait any longer. I must divorce Ethan sooner, and I should let Alex spend more time with Leo. Otherwise, he won't be affectionate anymore." She said, "Honey, I'm going to get my nails done with Emily today." But in my mind, I was thinking, it's crowded here. Otherwise, Alex would definitely come over right away and hold my hand and show off. I saw Alexander still staring at Grace and couldn't help but feel sorry for Sophia. After so many years as an underground lover, she can't even compare to the substitute for his white moonlight. But looking at Alexander's eyes, I knew my beauty scheme had worked. That night, I casually brought it up to Sophia. This time, Alex and Grace will definitely make it. You should have seen the look in Alex's eyes today, like molten sugar, so affectionate. Don't you think Grace is a lot like our college goddess Olivia? Alex used to have a crush on Olivia back then. Sophia's expression shifted. "Alex, he used to have a crush on Olivia." I nodded. Of course, at the time, he secretly kept so many photos of Olivia. He even secretly bought the books she borrowed. Maybe the reason he never married all these years was because of Olivia. Sophia didn't say anything, but inside I was filled with voices. "Alex, didn't he say his first love was me? That he loved only me?" It was all a lie. No, Alex loves me. Besides, Ethan is already bankrupt and has no more use. Fine, I'll make Alex marry me. I'll tell Alex tomorrow. I heard Sophia's thoughts and couldn't help feeling secretly pleased. This was exactly the effect I wanted. Sophia has looked very haggard lately. I know it's because her attempt to force a marriage failed. Alexander has been completely infatuated with Grace these past few days, so he hasn't had time to pay attention to Sophia. He used the fact that Sophia hadn't divorced yet as an excuse and kept delaying agreeing to Sophia's request to marry. I could tell Sophia had been distracted these past few days. So, I asked her, "Sophia, you seemed way down lately. What's going on?" She shook her head and said, "Nothing." But in my heart, I thought, what exactly do I have to do to get a divorce from Ethan? I decided it was time. So, I took the initiative and said to Sophia, "Sophia, I'm bankrupt. I've tried to recover my losses, but it's beyond recovery. Let's get a divorce. I still have some assets. I'll give you whatever I can." Sophia had actually long ago learned about this from Alexander, but she pretended to be very surprised just now. "Husband, how could you be bankrupt? How could I leave you at a time like this?" I have to admit, Sophia is really good at acting. I continued, "I can leave you about $20 million. You and Leo should live well. Life won't be what it was, but you'll at least have enough to eat." Sophia was full of tears, looking very moved. But in her heart, she thought, finally, we can divorce. I didn't expect he went bankrupt. Yet, this idiot can still leave me $20 million. How wonderful. I said, "Then let's get a divorce tomorrow." Sophia cried, "Don't rush. Divorce is such a big matter. I'll go back to my parents' home today and discuss it with my mother." But in her heart, she thought, this huge piece of good news. I must go tell brother Alex right away, and I haven't seen him for days. I actually miss him a lot. Listening to Sophia's inner voice, I was stunned to discover that Sophia's needs in that area were so strong. It seems it wasn't indifference, just that she doesn't love me. The divorce is tomorrow, yet Sophia isn't even willing to wait for this last day. She loves Alexander so deeply. How could I, as her husband, not help her fulfill that? The next day, Sophia and I divorced. Sophia had nothing to do with my debts. We signed a divorce agreement. It stated that the $20 million was a voluntary gift to Sophia. All the remaining debts had nothing to do with her. Sophia only wanted a divorce for me, so she could go pursue her love. So, she never even saw that the contract also stated all the profits had nothing to do with her. An uncontrollable smile spread across her face. I heard her thoughts, finally free again. $20 million over 3 years isn't a bad deal. I can finally marry Alex. At that time, however, Alexander's company ran into trouble. The stock he had hoarded simply couldn't be sold, and the merchants he had verbally promised to had already disappeared into the crowd. Alexander not only lost the $5 million I had given him, he even mortgaged his own house. Just when he was despairing, Grace also broke up with him. He finally experienced that same overwhelming hopelessness I had felt. But he was luckier than I was. He had Sophia. Sophia used the $20 million I gave her to pay off Alexander's debts. The condition was that Alexander marry her. When I heard the news, I couldn't help but admire that Sophia's love for Alexander was truly genuine. Their wedding was announced to everyone except me. Many people gossiped about it, secretly accusing the two of colluding. Everyone thought I would be heartbroken, but in fact, I was lying on Sunhaven Beach on vacation. After being husband and wife, I let Sophia go. I hope she can live a happy life. I never want to end up penniless and empty-handed like in my last life, raising his 2 children to adulthood for him. Whoever wants to be this great fool can go ahead and be one. I just don't know what the days of poverty and lonely couples will be like. How long can Sophia last? Ethan came with a gentle call. A graceful figure appeared before me. "Olivia, are you in Sunhaven too?" Through our conversation, I learned that Olivia had just returned to the country to pursue her career. She decided to give herself a break before starting work again. Unexpectedly, she ran into me in Sunhaven. Olivia looked at me and asked hesitantly, "I saw classmates' posts, Sophia and Alexander. Are they really married?" There was a note of indignation in her tone. I looked at her and smiled. "Don't pity me. Didn't the song say it? Only by bidding farewell to the wrong can you meet the right." Olivia, whether from the heat of the sun or for some other reason, actually had the back of her ears a little flushed. She mustered up the courage and said to me, "Ethan, actually, I've had a crush on you for a long time. Now that you're single, I think I'm the right person. May I volunteer myself?" I looked at Olivia in surprise. Before, my eyes had only ever held Sophia. There was no room for any other woman. I would never have guessed that our college belle had a crush on me. "Old classmate, you aren't joking with me, are you?" Olivia saw the incredulous look on my face and couldn't help but let out a snort of laughter. "Looks like you really have forgotten that little chubby girl from elementary school." Hearing Olivia's reminder, I only then recalled my elementary school days. When I had just transferred to a new school, I found that everyone in the class bullied that chubby girl. My innate sense of justice was, of course, uncontrollable. After I rescued the beauty, I also said, "If any of you dare bully little chubby flower again, you'll be bullying me from then on." Nobody ever bullied little chubby flower again. I compared the face of little chubby flower from my memories with the pretty face in front of me and said in surprise, "So, you were the chubby little hob back then?" Olivia nodded. From then on, she secretly gave me her affection. Unfortunately, we were both students. She didn't want to jeopardize her studies. When I went to university, however, I fell for the outspoken Sophia. By a twist of fate, she never managed to say those words I longed to hear. "I like you." I looked at Olivia before me. She had indeed become even more beautiful, living up to the title of Campus Belle. But I turned her down. "Olivia, you're beautiful and wonderful, but I only recently divorced. I don't want to use you as my healing balm. Do you understand?" Olivia looked at me, her eyes rimmed with red. "Since fate has brought us together again, you're unmarried and I'm unwed. I won't give up easily." Looking at the resolute Olivia before me, I could only sigh. The 10-year reunion for my university classmates was about to arrive. I was hesitating about whether to go when the class monitor from university called me. "Ethan, you absolutely have to come to the 10-year reunion. Although Sophia and Alexander aren't very dependable, buddy, I miss you. You have to come." Okay. If even the class monitor said so, I didn't hesitate. On the day of the gathering, I wore simple casual clothes, about as casual as it gets. I knew there were plenty of people waiting to see me make a fool of myself. Sure enough, when I arrived at the private room in the hotel, I saw people whispering about me. What reunion? People who are truly close get together regularly. A so-called class reunion is just a place for showing off, to see who has done the best over the years. Now everyone has heard that I went bankrupt, and I've also been cheated on. No one greets me or flatters me like they used to anymore. They just look at me with pity, as if I deserve it, curiosity, and various other expressions. I don't care, though, because the real show hasn't started. Sophia arrived arm in arm with Alexander, her face full of smiles, as if she were a winner in life. She announced to everyone, "I'll be paying for today's class reunion expenses with Alexander. Enjoy the food and have fun." Everyone immediately greeted the couple with smiles. Sophia thought to herself, what a bunch of social climbers. A free meal is enough to shut them up. Too bad it cost money today. Looks like I'll have to sell a few of the bags Ethan bought me. Once Alex's company is back on its feet, everything will be fine. For now, I'll go easy on them. I heard her thoughts and couldn't help but sneer. Following Alexander to the point of selling bags. Now that's truly love conquering all. When Sophia saw me, instead of feeling guilty, she turned it around and blamed me. In front of everyone, she put on a frightened act and said, "Ethan, what are you doing here? You're not going to hit me again, are you?" Everyone's gazes all snapped to me. I hadn't had time to answer. Sophia then began to stage her own performance again, saying, "No one knows, right? Ethan often abused me, especially after he went bankrupt. He literally beat me nearly to death. I almost lost my life. If Alexander hadn't saved me, I wouldn't even know if I could be standing here with everyone today." She finished speaking, crying with tear-free cheeks. In her description, I instantly became a domestic abuser, and Alexander was the knight who saved her. So it was only natural that the two of them got married. I had to admire Sophia's acting skills. There were already voices in the crowd cursing at me. He looked like an elite outside, but at home, it turns out he's a jerk. Domestic violence every day anyone would break. Marrying Alexander wasn't wrong. I laughed. I abuse you. You do have the occasional bruise here and there, but those are all love marks Alexander left on you. Sophia, furious and ashamed, snapped. You're talking nonsense. What evidence do you have? Looking at the onlookers, I said, please look at the big screen. This big screen originally displayed photos of our college days. Now it's filled with photos of Sophia and Alexander meeting in secret. All kinds of revealing shots. I pixelated some of the more indecent ones. I smiled and said to Sophia, who looked completely panicked, you were the one who asked for proof, saying, Alexander saved you. Saved you to the bed. Everyone stared at the photos, scrolling above. Each of them widened their eyes. To be honest, the scale was so extreme that I couldn't believe Alexander and Sophia played around that much. All these photos of yours are photoshopped. Sophia stubbornly denied it. Oh, then what about this paternity test? Did I Photoshop that too? I also put the paternity test results for Leo and me on it. The test results above show that Leo is not my biological son. Sophia was stunned. There was an uproar among the crowd. Ethan's son doesn't look like him. I thought he took after Sophia, but it turns out he resembles Alexander. Yes, the more I look at the photos of Sophia's son, the more he looks like Alexander. At that moment, a voice rose inside Sophia again. Oh no, this is over. Alexander, don't you have anything to say? I looked at this former brother. Not only did he cheat on me, he even had me raise his son. Truly a good brother. What is there to say? You're bankrupt now, and my company has just landed a big order and may go public next. Alexander wore a look of triumph. I've never liked you. Bragging about your family's money and acting willful. Saying you treated me like a brother when it was really just charity. Treated me like a mutt. Now look at you. You're bankrupt. Well, why do you have to boss me around here? Charity. If I adopted a dog, it would wag its tail for me. Over the years, the charity I've given you must add up to tens of millions of dollars, right? How do you repay me, you ungrateful wretch? I deliberately bid down hard on the word charity. Several tens of millions of dollars. That's still charity. Alexander is really repaying kindness with ingratitude. Seeing everyone whispering about him, Alexander hurriedly said, no matter what happened before, now you're bankrupt. You're about to become a dog with no home. Sophia stood beside Alexander, looking at me with contempt. Just then, Alexander's phone rang. After hanging up, his face went ashen. Because this time, he hadn't run into an actor, but a real fraud ring. All in the name of getting rich in one go and turning his life around. He had not only lost all the money Sophia had given him, but had also put up his car and house as collateral. He even borrowed tens of millions of US dollars in high-interest loans. Now it all became a bubble. At that moment, a group of people burst into the private room. A fierce-looking man glared at Alexander and snarled, if you don't pay me back today, I'll take your life. Everyone looked at Alexander. Alexander saw the bald leader holding a wooden stick and spoke tremblingly. Could you give me a few more days? The bald man glanced at Alexander and signaled with his eyes for the henchman beside him to teach him a lesson. Seeing this, Alexander immediately fell to his knees with a thud. Just a few days. Please give me a few more days, I said to Bald Zhang in a flat, indifferent tone. Shurao Zhang, what's going on? Bald Shurao Zhang, seeing it was me, hurriedly ingratiated himself. Oh my, I didn't realize Mr. Johnson would be here today. I've offended you and disturbed your good mood. I'll punish myself. Saying that, he proceeded to slap himself a few times. I'll take my leave now. As for that debtor, Alexander, looking at Mr. Johnson, today I'll give you a few more days' grace, but if you don't repay... Then Shurao Zhang finished speaking and left with a conciliatory smile. At this moment, Sophia's close friend Emily asked the group in puzzlement, didn't they say Ethan went bankrupt? Oh, it seems news from abroad hasn't reached home yet. You still don't know that the projects Ethan invested in overseas have already made tens of billions of dollars. It's been reported in the foreign financial news. At that moment, a gentle female voice sounded, and Olivia arrived belatedly, wearing a white dress. Everyone couldn't help but look at the former campus beauty and talented girl with astonished eyes. They were even more shocked by the words she spoke. At that moment, Sophia's inner voice sounded in my ear again. Ethan actually didn't go bankrupt. He made billions of dollars. Everyone's expressions toward me changed immediately. The class monitor even got me seated at the head table. Come on, Mr. Ethan should give us a proper lesson and tell us how he made his money. At this moment, Alexander looked very ill. He actually came up to me and, with a plop, knelt down. Ethan, what I just said wasn't true. Sophia seduced me first. She drove a wedge between us and made it seem like I'm nothing but a dog in your eyes. That's why I gave in to thoughts I shouldn't have had. I'm sorry. We're brothers. Please give me another chance. As he spoke, he kept slapping his own face. I'm not human. I'm ungrateful. From now on, I will loyally follow Brother Ethan. Everyone was stunned, but Sophia's inner voice at that moment was, Alexander actually said, I seduced him. Is this the ambitious Alexander the first used to love? How could he kneel to Ethan in front of so many people like that? What a disgrace. I looked at Alexander and said coldly, once unfaithful, never trusted again. Give up on hope. Seeing there was no chance of reconciliation, Alexander laughed loudly in front of everyone. Haha, what use is being a billionaire? Didn't I still trick your woman into bed? Weren't you cuckolded by me? Even the sun is mine. Alexander had already gone a bit mad. Sophia looked at him in disbelief. Sophia's inner voice rang in my ears again. So Alexander was actually using me. How could I have betrayed Ethan for him? At this moment, I looked at Alexander and said disdainfully, yes, Sophia loved you. So I obliged her, returning her and your son to you. Beside me, Olivia also said with a beaming smile, I never expected Sophia to have such poor taste to not love Ethan and instead choose that Alex. Alex what? Alexander had secretly loved Olivia for so many years. Olivia didn't even know who he was. Not only that, Olivia confessed to me in front of everyone. Ethan, I've always liked you. Let's give this a try. I saw Alexander looking completely dejected, and Sophia's inner voice sounded, don't you ever agree to her. I looked at Olivia before me, beautiful and composed. Her gaze toward me was very firm, just like I once looked at Sophia. I finally spoke, okay. Then, amid everyone's cheers, Olivia and I embraced. Sophia and Alexander left looking dejected. After that class reunion, I never saw Alexander again. I heard people say he was up to his ears in debt and couldn't pay it off even after selling his property. Someone once saw Alexander on the street. He was raving and shouting, my company has gone public. Whoever dares look down on me, I'm the president. And Sophia was tormented every day by Alexander's mother. Alexander's mother always scolded her, blaming her for being the reason her son had gone mad. In short, it was a complete mess. I heard all this unintentionally from a friend. Olivia and I dated for 2 years and then got married. She was not only beautiful and talented, but also very caring and considerate toward me. Under her meticulous care, my medical exam results were very healthy. I don't think I will ever get cancer from overwork in this lifetime. We chose a 5-star hotel in this city for our wedding. Olivia was already beautiful, and wearing a wedding dress made her unbearably stunning. Many former classmates came to offer their congratulations. 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 You actually married our school's goddess. Seeing you too, I finally believe that love is worth waiting for. I looked at the delicate wife beside me, holding her as she raised glass after glass to toast the guests. At that moment, a sorrowful voice sounded. All this happiness should have belonged to me. I looked around and saw Sophia hiding in a corner, not seen for many years. She looked very haggard. Her once black hair had even turned white. When she saw me looking at her, she hurriedly fled in panic. At that moment, I heard her thoughts once again.